What's up, guys? It's Miranda with Serious Dance and Fitness, and today I'm going to be taking you through a 10-minute booty band workout completely on the ground. We will not be leaving our mat for this workout. The only thing you're going to need is a small looped resistance band, and you can choose your difficulty level by choosing the strength of that band based on where you are at right now. We are going to get started with that band above our knees for some bent knee lifts, and we are just kicking that leg straight up, keeping that foot as flexed as possible so we're really engaging that glute the entire time. Make sure to keep your core tight during this exercise and also keep your shoulders right on top of those wrists. And we're going to take a quick 10-second rest right here and switch over to the other side. During these rests, if you need to stretch out one side or the other, feel free to do so. We just want to get right back in gear. So now we're starting up again with those bent knee lifts on the opposite leg. Still remembering to keep that foot flexed throughout the entire time, squeezing that glute at the top and keeping that core engaged. Try your best to have the only movement be from that leg, not rocking side to side or back and forth too much. You just want to keep that core engaged so you stay nice and stable. Next thing we're moving into is some straight leg lifts. So we're doing the same type of movement, but now we're keeping our legs straight the entire time. By turning that foot out, we're just hitting that glute muscle a little bit differently inside that glute medius. Turning out and turning in just helps us activate all those tiny little muscles inside the glute. Again, make sure that core is tight and that foot is flexed. Gonna take a quick 10-second rest and switch on over to the other side. Keeping in mind that heel is driving straight back and we wanna keep that leg as straight as possible, not to have any bend in our knee, just so we can activate that glute and then keep that leg nice and long. While you're doing this, also think about your neck posture. Remember not to drop it straight down. We want to try to keep that head in line with the spine. A lot of the times there's a tendency to drop that neck and face closer to the mat as we get fatigued. Make sure to keep that neck in line. Now we're going to be moving to the side and into our fire hydrant. So with a bent knee, we're going to be lifting that leg out to the side and back in. You're really wanting to push against that resistance band and control on the way back in. Don't let your leg just slam back in with the power of that band. You want to make sure you're controlling it and then pushing out back against the band every time you go out. Another quick rest right here before we switch over to the other side. Now on this other side, keep in mind you want to be stable on that supporting leg. We don't want to be sitting out into that hip every time we lift the leg. If you find that you're sitting into that supporting hip, lift the leg a little bit less so that you're not getting that opposition from the other side. You can help control that by keeping your core tight and keeping even that standing leg engaged. Think about flexing that quad and that glute. Even though the opposite leg's doing the work, we still want to be thinking about our form on the standing leg. From here, we are moving into our donkey kickback. So it's kind of a combination of the first two exercises. We're gonna drive that knee in and then extend it straight out behind us. So you're starting from that bent knee position, kind of contracting your core at the top and then extending that leg straight back. And again, driving with that heel, trying to get that leg as straight as possible and keeping that foot flexed the entire time to keep the glute engaged. Switching now over to the other side, Really focus on this side to try to contract that core and drive that knee as much as you can close to your chest with the resistance of that band. If you have a really tight band, you may not be able to drive that knee forward too much, but still think about having that contraction in the core, regardless of how close to your chest you're able to get that knee. Next thing we are moving into is a kneeling good morning. So we want to be up on our knees, and then we're gonna sit back in between our feet or right on top of our heels and squeeze those glutes at the top as you're coming up. Normally this is done with a weight, but doing this without the weight, you can still get the benefit of it as long as you're squeezing those glutes and squeezing those quads, keeping it nice and controlled as you're going up and down. And this is my cat. Her name is Serieux. She loves to join me for my workouts, so she might be featured in a few of my upcoming videos. And we're gonna move into our glute bridges. And of course, she chooses to lay down right when I need to lay down as well and attack my head. This is normal, it's okay. We're gonna move into these glute bridges, and I'm just lifting my hips off of the ground, keeping my belly button into my spine and squeezing my glutes at the top. Really fight your knees against that band and make sure that you're not knocking your knees together. Even though we're not moving out with the band, you still wanna keep pressure against it just to keep those knees in line. Next thing we're moving into is a glute bridge pull. So we're gonna have our feet together now, and you can rise up on those toes to make it just a little bit more difficult. You're gonna be at the top of that glute bridge the whole time, and now we're forcing our knees out against that band and trying to go out as far as possible with control without dropping those hips down. Your hips should stay at the same level, and you're keeping them at the same level by squeezing the glutes the whole time and activating that core. Moving now onto our side for some clamshells. So you can be on your elbow or on your hand for this, and we want to have the feet below the hips, not the knees below the hips. So my knees are a little bit out in front of me, and I'm just opening my legs, trying to keep my heels together and opening from that knee, really hitting in that side hip. We still want to keep the core tight during this and minimize any side-to-side movement. We're trying to isolate just that glute medius and those adductors at the top. And we're going to switch on over to the other side. Again, remembering to keep the feet below the hips, not the knees. And we are supporting ourselves up on our elbow or on the hand, but we want to make sure that we are supporting ourselves and not just letting that core drop. Still keep lifted, and you want to press out from that elbow and think of a lifted position, almost like a plank. Moving now into our last two exercises, we're gonna do some side leg lifts. So our bottom leg is bent underneath us at a 90-degree angle, and the top leg is straight out, and we're gonna lift it up with that toe pointed forward. We're gonna play with some variations of where the toe is on this. So now we're gonna point the toe up to the sky for about 5 reps, and then we're gonna point it down at the mat for another 5 reps. Playing with the direction of the toe point just helps you dig deep into those glute muscles so that we're making sure that we hit every little fiber in there. And by switching it up, it kind of keeps the body guessing. Switching over to the other side. Again, keeping that bottom leg right underneath you. We don't want it to push out to the front at all. Lift that top leg up and fight against that band. And again, control yourself on the way back down. Don't let your leg just drop. We want to keep it active and squeeze the entire time. And turn out the foot, and then we're gonna turn it in. Just play with these. I like to maybe do about 5 reps of each one. One's gonna burn more than the other. Maybe stick on that one just a little bit longer. And we are finished, so you can go ahead and take that band off. We're gonna do just a few stretches because those glutes are gonna be pretty tight right now. So go ahead and lay down onto your back. You're gonna put one ankle on top of the knee, thread your arms through that hole that creates, and just pull that leg to your chest. Go ahead and switch sides. This is a figure 4 stretch, really great for the glutes. I like to rock side to side on this just to find the tight spot and then hold that tight spot just a little bit longer. Go ahead and flip it over into a child's pose. Now in this child's pose, it's not only releasing our back, but I like to shift my hips from side to side just to kind of dig into that glute a little bit deeper. Helps release all that work that we just did, so we're not as sore for the next day. If you enjoyed this workout, don't forget to like and subscribe to my page, and also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at serious.danceandfitness for nutrition advice and workout tips. Always remember to stay hydrated and eat right.